I truly believe this is an area where we need to look at our environmental regulations. At the present time, we have buffer strips all around the whole farm, and we direct water to go to these buffer strips. I think that in the future, we're going to have to look in the agriculture arena to keeping that water there. Don't direct it all. It will be, I don't have the scientific or engineering skill to tell you how it should be done, but we need to either slow it down drastically or contain it where it is. And I resent blaming farmers for all the runoff. Farmers do a pretty good job simply because economically we don't have any choice. And I'll give you, for instance, we have a farm that goes very close to 213, which the water comes from 213. Many, many years ago, 213 was a 12-foot wide road. We never had any erosion problems. They made it an 80-foot road, and now we've had continuous erosion problems since. So it's not only the agriculture community, but we have to look at all the areas where there are impervious surfaces and water is running off, and we've got to keep the water close to the source and just let it trickle out. That's the only way we're going to stop that. And it's a total effort, and it will be costly, but again, with proper engineering, I think we can do it.
Thank you. Mr. Ong.
I couldn't have answered it any better than Mr. Manlove did. I have to agree with him. He's our resident farmer on the board here, an individual that I would certainly listen to and try to get his input as we move forward.
Thank you. Mr. Mumford.
I have a small country farm, 5 acres. We have a pond there. I have a land grant all around the farm. Soybeans, some corn. I love the Eastern Shore vista, especially in the summertime. I was sneezing my head off last night from all the corn stalks. Coming home with my windows down. I prefer fresh air as opposed to air conditioning. I grew up without air conditioning. Just a screen in the window here on the Eastern Shore. Listening to the rain at night on tin roofs. So I agree, Mr. Manlove. Most of the farmers are, they have a reputation of not being so smart sometimes. But let me tell you, that's a full-time business, farming. It's like my mother says, you want to run the state like you run a household. You know what your budget is, and you know when you got to pay your bills, and you know when you got to put a meal on the table. So the buffer systems are in place. We've got transportation issues, hard top, like he said, impervious surfaces. Unfortunately, that's what we have. We might want to look into some type of other product for the road tops. Cement didn't cause so many problems back in the day as opposed to the tar. We've got major scientific research on purifying water now, and we need to use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mann? Yeah?
At one time, there was a big issue about directing population towards towns and villages rather than to take land from farm areas and whatnot. But what I'm thinking about is the water that has to be used for houses most of the water, I would think, in District 36 would be not from towns, but from an individual, yes, wells and disposal systems. And I wonder how much effect that sort of thing has on the water in the bay as well. So probably some sort of ability to get some of these systems to be more environmentally effective. Anyway, what would you think about some legislation that would affect that sort of protection for the bay?
And it's directed to?
It's directed to everyone.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mumford, would you like to start?
Well, I have been with the Kent County Health Department, and I know that we have a great environmental system located in the health departments, and they go around and they check the wells, they check the septic systems. Believe me, there's been more than one argument. We had an administrator, I used to watch her make grown men cry at the counter because they couldn't get a perk test, and she wouldn't pass it. So I think we have relatively strong initiatives now. There are new biodegradable systems coming along. So the technology is there. I believe the outdated systems are pretty much closed down now. They kind of seal off old wells, etc., and then and drill new ones. But I just want to remind everyone that Paris Glendenning had the Smart Growth Program, where he was hoping that any extension of housing, etc., would be adjacent to an already existing infrastructure, instead of trying to build something in the middle of a cornfield and destroy the farm. Put it near a town that's already established. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alt?
I think Steve had touched a little bit on the smart growth.